Hi and welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. Been a while since I posted videos for various different reasons, but this is an essential one, I feel. It's New Year's Eve, January 2017, and just an update. Obviously, as the title of this video suggests, I've sold my Suzuki Inazuma. So I'm going to show you just some clips of the Suzuki Inazuma, and I just want to talk quickly about that before I unveil my new bike. And that is hands down one of the best bikes I've ever owned for the purpose that I bought it for, which was commuting. It was cheap, reliable, 100% reliable, easy to ride, easy to maintain, cheap to maintain, insurance was cheap, tax was cheap, MOT, no problems, servicing, cheap. But it wasn't a cheap bike. Well, it was a cheap bike, but it didn't feel like a cheap bike. It's a well-made bike, well put together. I sold it for not a lot less than what I bought it for, and I'd had it, a couple of years, done quite a few miles on it. So it's one of those bikes I couldn't really fault in any way. The fact that it was a 250 and only went a certain speed, is an issue for some people, but then don't buy a 250. It's quite a simple thing to overcome. But yeah, so just a fantastic little bike. And I would suggest if anyone's thinking of getting a bike they only wanted as a commuter, and they wanted something cheap, something to inspire confidence, if you haven't been riding for a while, if you're new to biking, it's certainly not a bike I got bored of particularly. I rode it a few days ago, and I still love riding it. But it was time for a change, so I've bought a new bike. So I'm just going to go back and zoom out and show you the new beast. So here we go. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 da. Oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? A KRS 125 4-stroke. No, it's not really that. That's I've just picked that up for my my nephew's just getting into motorcycling, and that's his new bike. So my new bike's under here. Can you guess what it is yet? Here we go with the unveiling. Should we do front or back first? Let's do the back first. I'll get off here. I bet some of you can even tell just by the stand what it is. Oh, let's cover that bit up. There it is. Here we go. This is a 2016 model. There you go. There she is. There we go. My new steed, the Triumph Street Triple 675. Beauty. Absolute beauty. There you go. Bit different to the Suzuki Inazuma, in that it's been a while since I've ridden what I call a quick bike, and yes, this is a 675. It's not a super sports. It's obviously a naked bike, etc. But whew, boy, has it got some grunt, and it's low down grunt as well. It doesn't matter what gear you're in, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. It just pulls like a train, like nothing I've experienced before. It is an astonishing piece of kit, in my opinion. It's just a wonderful thing. The 3-cylinder engine is something I've never had before. I've had a singles, I've had twins, V-twins, inline twins, I've had 4 cylinders, never had a 3-cylinder, so I thought, let's have something different. And someone I knew had bought a street twin, and I sort of liked the idea of that. And then I saw the street triple and went and test rode this bike, and within 5 minutes I was like, yep, I'm having it. Simple as. And I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic, it's one of those riding experiences that if you watch like other YouTube reviews, I'm not going to go on the road at the moment because it's horrendous. They start off like, oh yeah, the wing mirrors are rubbish, and sounds that the seats are reasonably comfortable, and then they open it up and it's like, wah, and people just start screaming and swearing, because you get this wah sort of noise that it makes, the induction. So it's not the exhaust sound, it's the induction sound. The exhaust sound is very sports bike-esque. And when you rev it standing here like this, it's very sort of sports bike sounding. But it's the induction noise when you open the throttle open, you really wang it open, and oh my god, it's a wonderful experience, and it just, every time I ride it, it makes me smile. Apart from the day when I went out, it was a bit too cold, like it is today, and I opened her up in, I think it was fourth gear, and it spun the rear wheel in fourth gear. Now that was an interesting experience. No traction control on this, obviously. It's got ABS, which is about the only electronic gadgetry it's got. The mirrors on it are absolutely shocking, so I've binned those and put bar end mirrors on. And it's got the little funky screen at the front. It's got the belly pan on it. It's about the only extras this has got. I don't really plan on doing an awful lot more to it, to be honest. It's just a lovely, lovely bike. I really enjoy it. So let's just give you a little look around, and we'll switch it on. Right. So the front of the Street Trooper is definitely what upsets some people. I like it. It's quirky. Reminds me a little bit of my Inazuma, not looks wise, in that it's a little bit quirky looking. It's a bit different, but I think it's one of those bikes that is going to stand the test of the time. The bikes I was looking at were the Suzuki V-Strom. That was top of my list until I sat on it and didn't like it. And then I was looking at the Honda CBR 500R, which was a lovely looking bike, but I thought it's one of those bikes that in 2 years' time you look at it and think, oh, what did I do? Why have I bought that? Whereas this bike, I think it's like a modern classic, in that it's what a bike should look like, and it certainly goes like a bike should, and so that's what I went for in the end. You know, I think I can see myself having this bike for a long time. So let's just come in here close, and so I'm trying to manually focus here as well, and we'll get the thing started. So just turn it on for you. You get the little blue Formula 1 lights for changing gear. You can set that to what you want. I've actually got it set to start coming on at 10,000, although this will red line at 12.5. You know, 10 is plenty, and once you hit that sort of 10,000, the blue lights come on. It's telling you to shift. It's actually quite good. So I'm just going to put the camera down for a second here and start it up. Let's put the camera there for a second. That's just the ABS light flashing, but hopefully you can hear this. Got all the usual features on the trips. Can't really show the other side very well. Yeah, it's got a lap timer on it. I'm not sure I'm ever going to use that. For a standard exhaust, compared to some of the abominations you get these days, that is pretty funky, and the replacement, like the Arrow, pretty much looks the same. It looks nicer because it's an Arrow, but to me, not worth the 500 quid to change it, because it sounds okay. And yeah, I think if you're going to put a different exhaust on, put something completely different on. Don't go for the Arrow, because it's what's the point? You know, the stock one actually looks nice. You know, you see some of these new and this is a Euro 4 compliant bike, but you see some of these new bikes now, the 2018 models, these massive exhausts just look horrible. So there you are. This is, I haven't ridden it an awful lot. I've only done a couple of 100 miles on it because the weather's been shocking. It's winter here, obviously. We've had ice and snow and wind and rain, and it's just horrible. So I haven't done much to it, just a couple of little bits and bobs, which was all that's needed. It's got about 4,000 miles on the clock. I've done an oil change and an air filter change since I've had it, and I've done them myself. I've decided to do a lot more work on it myself, this bike, and that's sort of in as well as, you know, services from a proper garage. But yeah, so there you go. And it cost me about £6,000, that is, and I got 1,600 quid for the Inazuma, which is currently for sale locally in Whittam, in Essex, near Malden. Great little bike. If anyone's near Bridge Street Motors, it's for sale at, if it's still for sale. Bridge Street Motors in Whittam, my little Inazuma is for sale, and he's got it up for a reasonable price, I think. But again, lovely little bike. But yeah, so this is the new Steed. There you go. Okay, just one nice little look at the. This is a fun little bike. This is the GRS 125 from KSR. Obviously, a bang off copy of some sort of KTM, I think. That's a fun little bike, little 125. Does about 55 mile an hour with me on it. Quite a nice, comfortable little thing. Good fun. Quite enjoyed poodling around on that. So I just picked it up for my nephew, coming to pick it up later. But yeah, good little learner bike that is. Yeah, very nice. And best mirrors ever had on a bike, bar none on that bike for some reason, as opposed to the crap that was on the Street Triple. Anyway, this is GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions, just with my update. I'm sad to see the Inazuma go, but really happy with what I've replaced it with. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.